Congratulations to Justin Fashanu of the Edmonton Brickmen, their player coach, who is the META 1989 most valuable player in the Canadian Soccer League, and very justly deserved.
And it was justly deserved. It was between two players, Ted Eck of Ottawa, I'm sure, and Justin Fashanu. Justin Fashanu, as a player coach, he wins the MVP. A great honor. Very well deserved, but tough luck, Ted Eck.
1-0 Hamilton at halftime. We'll have highlights when we return to the Foster's 1989 CSL Championship here on TSN.
A META long-distance copier, or fax machine, can reach out and send a copy to someone in just 15 seconds. META, or we make our great copiers.
McCain drinking boxes. You see them everywhere. And it's all because of the fruit. The fresh taste and goodness of fruit is McCain's #1 priority.
Drinking box of fruit makes the drinking box drinking box.
At the end of a busy week, make breakfast more complete with McCain Rise and Fry, a delicious fried potato treat. Rise early or rise late. Get them on the plate. McCain Rise and Fried Potatoes. Make breakfast more complete.
G'day. I've asked Rick here to teach me the barman's art of pouring a perfect Foster's lager single-handed. How am I going so far?
Not bad.
This technique allows you to put the squeeze on the Golden Throat Charmer with one hand, while you're putting the squeeze on a Charming Lady with the other. What more could a man ask for? Another arm, maybe. Foster's, the Golden Throat Charmer.
TSN presents the world's ultimate driving machine. You'll see coverage of the U.S. Open, British Open, PGA Championship, and year-long excitement for the PGA Tour. There's also the precision of the Lady Linksters and fun from the tee to green with those swinging seniors. Complete coverage of the Seniors Tour. RJR Premier Golf Championship starts Friday, October 6th on TSN.
Jerry Gray's goal at 42 minutes has given Hamilton a 1-0 lead over the Vancouver 86ers halftime here at Swangard Stadium in this 1989 CSL Championship final. But there were more than just the one goal. It could very easily be 2-2, 3-1, because there were a number of chances in that first half.
Number of half chances, but Hamilton had the best one. With 10 minutes gone, Alex Bunbury chips in a beauty to Chazaretta. He's got the whole goal, tries to pick the corner, and it skips just wide of the far post with Merkel reaching for it. Then Jerry Gray knocks a free kick into Gasparini. The big centre forward gets his head to it, but can't get any power, and Merkel saves easily. With 5 minutes to go in the first half, Dale Mitchell tries his luck from just outside the box. Watches the ball's blocked, goes to Carol Valentine. He hits a cracker, Dolan's beaten, it scrapes the post. Just a great effort, and so unlucky to be 0-0 at that time, but it didn't stay 0-0 for long. Right down to the other end the teams went, and Jerry Gray takes advantage of a great bounce. Watch the ball run for him. The midfielder cracks it beautifully. Merkel's got no chance, and it screams in. Great goal, right on half-time, and what a time to get it. The ball's played in, fortunate bounce as it comes off the defender. It runs beautifully to Jerry Gray. Oh, great goal, Jerry. You can't hit them much better than that.
The two teams are back on the field for the start of the second half. And it's interesting, though, Graham, that really the run of the play had belonged to Vancouver, and then that one little breakdown, the ball squirts to Jerry Gray, and he buries it in the net, and it's 1-0 Hamilton.
This game is counted on goals for and goals against. Statistics don't mean a thing. You can outshoot your opponents 50-1, but if the opponents get that one goal in, forget statistics. That's why I don't like them in soccer, folks. and I think I've made my views on them perfectly clear up till now. Great goal by Jerry Gray. I think Vancouver a little unfortunate to be down 1-0, but this is a game of taken or missed chances.
The 86ers in their home yellows and blues, and the Hamilton Steelers in their black and white road uniforms. And there you see the right thigh of Drew Ferguson, now very heavily bandaged, and as you suggest, may have picked up a little bit of a Charlie horse.
And it looks very much as if Doug Muirhead, super sub, has come on in midfield instead of Mark Carper. We saw this happen in Edmonton when they were down 3-0. We thought, why would they put Muirhead at right back? And he had an outstanding game. He came forward beautifully. Well, he's in for Carper, and I tell you what, they may well have the same effect. They're down 1-0. They were down 3-1 in that game in Edmonton, and Muirhead certainly made the difference.
There's Doug Muirhead, the 26-year-old out of the University of Victoria, in his third CSL season, had 4 goals this year. Interesting again, you always wonder how teams are going to play when they get up on Vancouver. Not many do, but the tendency would be to lay back and let Vancouver come to you. It's always dangerous when you do that, and Bob Lenarduzzi knows his team has the capability of coming back. Dale Mitchell, second half just underway.
And I tell you, it's going to be tough to pick a fastest player of the game out of this game. There's been some excellent performances. The back four for both teams have been absolutely immaculate.
Mitchell cuts it into the middle of the box, cleared away by Ferguson. And now this field here at Swangard almost totally in shadows except for the odd stray beam of sunlight. Mobilio for Muirhead, plays it through, looking for Mitchell. Jerry Gray, the goal scorer for Chazaretta. Gasparini makes a run, and Sadeko gets there to take the ball away from here. Sadeko cuts it back upfield. Chazaretta, as Bunbury heads for the top of the box. Gasparini with Sadeko watching him. Gasparini gets it across. Still there for Ian Yiro, and it's headed away by Ivor Evans. Easton makes the run. Lays it off for Catliffe. Valentine, Mobilio, and Evans run for the area, and it's played back. Easton, Catliffe, Belfiore. 1-0, Hamilton leading early in this second half here in Vancouver, the '89 CSL Championship. Steve McDonald for Mobilio, and Purdy takes it away. And now you can see the 86ers almost as if they flipped a switch, picking up the tempo of the game.
Lots of players wearing strapping on the knees or strapping on the thighs. The last game of the CSL season. None of these players want to miss it. They're playing with injuries. Rather surprised to see Drew Ferguson with that strapping on his thigh, because I was convinced he'd got a Charlie horse.
Ivor Evans makes the run. Mobilio, Catliffe in the middle if he can get across, and it'll go off Lucio Ianiero and goes an 86er corner. And here comes Carl Valentine. It's a set piece. He'll take them all, and he takes it quickly, chips it to the near post. Lifting the middle, cleared away as the defenders got crossed up. Easton off of Morrow, Catliffe, and in mistimes the pass for Valentine, and Gray clears it up to you. McDonald just gives it away to Purdy. Chazaretta, and now it's a 3-on-2 break, 4-on-2. Chazaretta, Bunbury is calling for it. That's where it goes. Bunbury flips it over. Purdy, oh, offside. The call from the near sidelines from Mr. Bob Sautel. as it was a 4-2 break for Hamilton.
But it could well have been a goal at the other end, as we've said so often before. Just watch this clearance by Guido Boyne, right there to kick it off the line with goal forward. And the play going backwards and forwards, as we show a replay, it almost scored at the other end.
Jim Easton just missing a chance now down at the other end. And at the other end, well, here was Bunbury's chance.
Well, it was unlucky. It was a good run, but Bunbury just a little late once again in pushing it to Mark Purdy. Mark Purdy couldn't believe that he was given offside.
And then down the other end, it was Jim Easton.
Well, speak about a seesaw battle. What's this? Great shot. Whoa, you can't get much closer than that without going in, Jim.
But it's still 1-0, Hamilton leading here in the second half.
And we've had 3 replays in the space of 10 seconds. We're live now, folks. Trust me, we're live.
Ivor Evans midfield for Vancouver. Ian Yero watching him, and Ian Yero pushes it over the sideline. Throw in for the 86ers. Belfiore quickly to Catliffe. Gets away from Morrow. Cuts it in. Easton is there. And it'll go as a corner. Jim Easton. 2 chances in the last minute.
Well, I said you can't come much closer without scoring on the last one, Jim. You came closer there, but Paul Dolan stones you. Great move by John Catliffe. Jim Easton says, all I have to do is pick my spot, but watch the keeper block it with his feet.
Super sub. Dougie Muirhead looks to have scored the tying goal off the quick corner by Carl Valentine. And we're tied 1-1 in this 89 CSL Championship.
Well, the action is fast and furious. Watch this as Catliffe knocks the ball in. Knocked back in again. There's the big striker to knock it home. John Catliffe with his 12th goal of the season, including playoffs, has put the Vancouver 86ers level. And it was just a matter of time. You can only keep these 86ers off the board for so long.
And that goal by Catliffe coming in the 52nd minute as he tapped in the header by Dougie Muirhead. John Catliffe evens it at 1-1 in the 52nd minute. Here they come again, and this is what's so dangerous about the 86ers, as Edmonton found out in game 1 of their Western final. You let this team get on a roll, and they'll score them in bunches.
Well, it's not a case of the Hamilton Steelers lying back to protect the lead. When you play against Vancouver, there are times when you're forced back to defend. You have no option. They just keep coming in droves. Bunbury, midfield.
And now Mitchell comes over, and he'll play it into touch, and it'll be a throw-in for Hamilton.
But I'm sure Vid Horvath not overly concerned about the score. His Hamilton Steelers tied 1-1 in the game here at Swangard this season and beat them at Ivor Timmins Stadium 2-1.
Gasparini under all kinds of pressure. Throwing now for the Steelers, Lucio Ianiero. Ianiero lays it off. Blue has a chance. The chance by Robbie Clew. Now the stadium announcer is saying that the goal was scored by Dougie Muirhead. It doesn't look this way on the replay.
Tough to tell. Catliffe knocks the ball in, then he toes it in from there. He flicks on the header, gets the rebound back in from Muirhead, then he gets his big left foot to it, and John Catliffe definitely scored that goal to put the Vancouver 86ers level. But the shadows across this field, believe me, at times it's tough to pick up numbers, it's tough to pick up people, although we've watched these players all season.
Bobilio tries to play it through. Morrow, now it's Easton. And there's a different pace right now to this second half than anything we've seen in the first. They've all stepped it up. Gasparini as Purdy moves up through the middle. This is Purdy. Oh. Mark Purdy with a chance to make it 2-1, and he didn't miss by much.
Gasparini is so clever at moving off defenders. Pushes it right into the path of Mark Purdy. He tries to toe poke it inside the far post. Just toe pokes it wide.
Chazaretta. Purdy. Bunbury. Now Purdy and Gasparini are at the top of the box. Lays it back for Chazaretta. Looking for Bunbury to make some space, and he does. And Valentine is there to mark him. And now the two veterans battle. Purdy guilty of the foul on Mitchell.
And I don't think Mark Purdy will get away with that tackle with Derek Douglas right there. And Derek Douglas having a word with Chazaretta, who already spoke to him earlier in the first half and angered Mr. Douglas. And Mr. Douglas is saying, look, don't speak to me again. I want to have a chat with you now. He's going to take the yellow card out of his pocket, I'm sure. Because Chazaretta was warm in the first half. Mr. Derek Douglas given the chance to get on with it. Chazaretta didn't take it. Derek Douglas quite rightly books the midfielder of Hamilton for continually questioning his decisions.
And the two Argentinians over right away. Both Chazaretta and Gasparini play in the Argentinian First Division during their season.
Well, I'm sure that Mr. Derek Douglas doesn't speak too much Argentinian in Sherwood Park, Alberta, but he certainly handled that situation well. Well, there's no doubt that the foul was against Mark Purdy. The yellow card came out simply because Chazaretta complained to Derek Douglas that he had given the free kick. Mark Purdy didn't argue. Chazaretta did. Chazaretta went into the black box.
Mitchell breaking away. Bobilio. Valentine up for support. Lays it off. Valentine! And just like that, it's 2-1 Vancouver.
The two veterans combined this time to fashion a superb goal. Beautiful control by Dale Mitchell. A perfect overlap by Carol Valentine. There's the veteran. Great vision. Drew Ferguson's 1 against 2. He knows it's going to go to Valentine. He can't cut it out. Oh, that's a great finish by Carol Valentine. Paul Dolan, no chance at all. There's the layoff by Mitchell. There's the first-time shot. It was a goal all the way. Perfect, only perfect, Carl. 2-1 Hamilton.
The goal by Carl Valentine in the 57th minute. 2 goals by Vancouver in 5 minutes, and they now have a 2-1 lead over Hamilton.
In my excitement, I said 2-1 Hamilton. Of course, Hamilton trailed 2-1. What a superb goal. Not only the finish, but the timing of the layoff by Dale Mitchell. Beautiful.
Purdy gets by Muirhead, gets it across. Out comes Merkel. And the crowd, after a very quiet first half, certainly into it now as they've seen their team come from behind. And Mr. Douglas busy again, having a chat. And Jerry Gray saying to Gasparini, back off, use your head a little bit, Amadeo. You could get yourself red carded, and then you're help to nobody.
And full credit to Mr. Derek Douglas. He said to Jerry Gray, he said, get these two Argentinian players off my back, or they'll be in the dressing room very, very quickly. And Jerry Gray has just spoken to Chazaretta. He's just spoken to Gasparini. And hopefully these two will settle down, because so far the game has been run beautifully by Derek Douglas.
Easton will play it all the way back for his keeper, Rob Perkle. 2-1, Vancouver. And did Horvath I wonder what he said to his team at halftime.
Well, who can tell, but knowing Vid, he would have said, "You're doing very well, boys, but don't take this Vancouver side for granted. Just keep it nice and tight at the back. Take your opportunities if you get a chance to go forward, but don't give them anything at the back, because they can kill us." And that's exactly what they're doing now. Vancouver seem to have raised a gear or two. They seem to be able to switch it on when they like, and right now they're switching it on, and there's nothing Hamilton can do about
Boy,
it.
did they ever. They tried to flip it through. A little flick pass for Valentine didn't work. And now you get the sense that Hamilton's just trying to hang on. Catlett gets up for the ball. Ian Iero nods it down and plays it upfield. But nowhere now can a Steeler player turn without seeing a yellow shirt. Evans. McDonald. Muirhead. Muirhead is open. Morrow gets in the way, and they play it back for goals. But suddenly the sea of white parted for Dougie Muirhead.
And we spoke about Jerry Gray settling down his players. Catlett has a little word with Evans here, because Evans was trying to tangle with Drew Ferguson. And Catlett knows that Ivor Evans has a bad temper. Calm down, Ivor. We're 2-1 up. We don't want to lose a player. Jerry Gray and John Catlett showing a good example to the hotheads in their sides.
Ferguson over the ball. Jerry Gray is there as well.
What's the odds on Drew Ferguson trying one from here again?
We've seen him score this season. Gray will try it. Can't get it by the wall as it holds up. Now it's cleared away. Catlett for Ivor Evans. Morrow over quickly to try and mark him. Bumps the Fiji flash off the ball.
And that should be a foul for Hamilton, because Gary Morrow had won the ball beautifully.
And that's exactly what Mr. Douglas calls.
And that's what the wall's there for. You can't knock it through it, Jerry. You got to knock it over it. Well, we said he was a little bit of a hothead. He's a great player, but Gary Morrow wins the ball beautifully. Then Ivor Evans pulls him down. Free kick for Hamilton. And Mr. Derek Douglas right there again, right on the spot. Bobby, a little anxious. 2-1 against Hamilton is not a commanding lead. But then 2-1 down against Vancouver is an even worse situation.
Easton!
He's offside. He was offside as soon as that ball was played. Jim Easton took it beautifully, but as soon as the ball was played, Len Coombs put his flag up. He was offside. There was no doubt about it. There he is, last man back. That actually doesn't really show it, because the white defender had already moved to cover. When Jim Easton got that ball, he was offside. Len Coombs right on the spot, and Derek Douglas blew it dead right away. But what a great finish by Jim Easton.
So it remains 2-1, Vancouver leading Hamilton. Middle now of the second half of the '89 CSL Championship. Robbie Clew gets away from Mobilio, lays it off for Guido Boyd. Clew, Jerry Gray, Ferguson. Looking for Gasparini, and Belfiore is back to cut off the pass for Vancouver. Easton, Ivor Evans, this is Catlett, Mitchell, Valentine, who has played a tremendous game. And Chazaretta smiles at Mr. Douglas as he's called on the foul.
Well, he's got a point there, because he read the fact that Carol Valentine was going to push it past him. Got to the ball first, obstructed him a bit, but he did win the ball. And for once, Chazzy may well have been right, but it's so tough to be right when you're sitting way up here and the referee's right down there on the field. At least Chazaretta didn't argue that time. He took the decision smilingly. Nice to see, Chazzy.
John Catlett in a race now with Morrow, and he'll play it into touch on this near side.
And And it looks very much as if Billy Tomasetis is warming up on the sideline, down by 2-1 with about 25 minutes to go. Vid Horvath may decide to put his big striker into the lineup.
Chazaretta makes a run. Bunbury is on his left, but you see, they wait too long. Gasparini, can he get it across? No, as Belfiore comes over, and it'll go over the end line and result in a Steeler corner. But it's too slow to develop, Graham.
Good play by Gasparini, very clever on the ball, but as Danzadego sort of jockeys him, Belfiore comes in to block the shot. 2 against 1. Not much chance there, Amadeo. Good covering defense by Ivano Belfiore.
Substitution before the corner for the Hamilton Steelers. And as he suggested, Billy Domazetis will come into the game
in place of Robbie Clew
and bring with him his 13 goals during the regular season. Billy Domazetis.
Robbie Clew has played very well, filling in for the suspended Hector Marinaro in midfield, but Vid Horvath is playing his ace up his sleeve. He's bringing in another goal scorer in place of a midfielder.
So they'll play 3 strikers up front: Gasparini, Domazetis, and Bunbury. Ivor Evans, Jerry Gray hustling. Ferguson is there and neatly slides to punch it into touch. He wasn't smiling before the half when he was leading 1-0, and certainly he's not smiling now. Barry DeBartolomeo, the owner, and his family in attendance here at Swangard. His Hamilton Steelers trailing 2-1.
Well, he may not be smiling, but Mario DeBartolomeo can say something no other owner in the league can say, that his Hamilton Steelers have been in every single CSL final.
And he also has to say that they haven't won one. Valentine.
Yet. This game isn't over, folks. There's got to be more goals for sure. When these two teams meet, there has to be more goals.
Near post. Yes! More goals is right. Dominic Mobilio makes it 3-1 Vancouver as the Hamilton defenders got all crossed up.
And Catlett and Mobilio came into this game with 11 goals each. And the big number 9 laid one on a plate for the little number 10. Watch as this ball is floated by Jim Easton right to the far post. It's a great header back by Catlett. Dominic Mobilio gets to the ball, cuts it past Paul Dolan, and it's now 3-1. This is a very dangerous ball to the far post. Catlett wins the ball, knocked it back in. Mobilio gets to it first. That educated left foot curves it past Dolan. Now Catlett and Mobilio are tied at 12 goals each.
And the goal by Dominic Mobilio comes in the 67th minute, and it's 3-1 Vancouver. And we told you how this 86er team can explode, and they have exploded 3 times now in the second half. 52, 57, and 67 minutes.
They can score goals in handfuls, and every team in the Canadian Soccer League at one time or another has experienced it.
Ian Yero, near sideline, gets away from Mobilio, and then it squirts into touch, and it'll be a throw-in. They are something special, the Vancouver 86ers, as they look to defend their CSL championship.
You know, while there's a break in the play, at halftime we mentioned that Mary Morris, the general manager of Hamilton, had won the general manager of the year. Mary's 2 little granddaughters are watching, Megan and Miranda. Mary said to say, Nana says hi, kids. She's down 3-1, but Mary's still smiling.
Merkel rolls it out for Valentine. 3-1. Morrow. Purdy. Looking for Domazetis and Mitchell. There to intercept. Captain lays it back. Mitchell comes to the near side for Ivor Evans. Oh, nice move by the PG Flash to get away from Ian Nero, but then he couldn't get by Chazaretta. And now, Evans, as Mr. Douglas plays advantage, Evans with a fistful of Ian Nero's shirt, but they played on. Gasparini can't get it by Mobilio. Play on, advantage, he says. It's 3-1 Vancouver, and it's interesting, you know, you watch the people around the field. I even see the stadium crew giving each other high fives. Everybody, if you're an 86 supporter, you're into the game, you feel like you're a member of the team. Dalmazetis, his first touch of the ball. Can't get it across. Bunbury to the far post for Purdy, and then Valentine is there, and he'll just clear it into touch. The stadium here at Swangard, this is our location. You want to be in the crowd when you broadcast the game, Graham? This is it. You couldn't be any closer. We hope you're enjoying this 1989 CSL Championship here on TSN. Purdy gets it across. Bunbury can't hook it in. Dalmazetis off the bar. Dalmazetis nearly made it. 3-2. And that's how dangerous Billy Dalmazetis can be coming off the bench. Ferguson, Chazaretta. Ahead for Bunbury. McDonald is there to mark him. Bunbury. Ian Nero, little one touch, and it's pushed into touch.
Well, you can't come much closer than this. I've said it so often before, but Billy Dalmazetis has got a great left foot. He hits that ball on the turn, and Rob Nurkle, the luckiest man in the whole of Canada right now that rattled off the crossbar. He was nowhere. Great effort, Billy. Unlucky.
Ian Nero working now to try and get it across, and can't as Easton has moved back, and Belfiore. The near side linesman, Bob Sautel, saying that he played it over the end line. There you see George Schwartz, Chantel leading away.
No carbonation, not too sweet. Helps provide energy to working muscles. Nothing cuts through thirst like Gatorade.
Welcome back to the 1989 CSL Championship. Vancouver on 3 second-half goals by Catlett, Valentine, and Mobilio, leading 3-1 over Hamilton. Vic Rauter along with Graham Leggett. Hector Chazaretta has been in the action. 2 separate games he's played. One on the field and then one, of course, with the referee, Mr. Derek Douglas, as Easton makes a run. Can't get by Ferguson. Evans. Mitchell. Evans again. Ian Nero. And now Ferguson over and gives him a bump. And Evans slow to get up.
And Evans acting a little bit there, looking for a little bit of sympathy. Good hard tackle by Drew Ferguson. No reason at all for Ivor Evans to go down as if he was poleaxed. Today's attendance, 7,942. Marvelous, absolutely marvelous.
Even better than some of the official slot. They had estimated somewhere between 65 and 7,000, 7,942. Congratulations to everybody here in Vancouver, to the fans, the team, the organizers. They've done a marvelous job putting on this 1989 CSL Championship.
And they're being royally entertained. 4 goals so far. A said before in one of the games, we play a little game, we marked down on a little sheet of paper how many goals we're going to get. We had marked down 5 today, folks. We may not have marked down enough spaces. These two teams have not finished, I'm sure.
Well, now, let's be honest. At halftime, you thought that maybe that would be too many, but
I did. But having done these Vancouver 86ers before, you can never put down too many, or never count on them not scoring too many.
Valentine lays it through. Mobilio to Ivor Evans. A PG flash lays it off. Easton, the center is stolen. Chazaretta, Jerry Gray, little flick through. He has Chazaretta, gets it across. Oh, and then it goes off McDonald and just by that near post.
Well, it could well have been another goal for the Vancouver 86ers. Watch how Ivor Evans unselfishly lays this ball off. It's hit beautifully, but Paul Dolan right there to gather it.
Jerry Gray will take this Steeler corner with under 15 minutes to play. Headed away by Catlett as he's moved back. Ferguson plays it forward. Bunbury nods it down off the bar. Yes, as Chazaretta was there to put away the rebound. And it's 3-2. 3-2. Hamilton are coming back.
And Vancouver 86ers caught woefully short at the back. They come out to try and play the offside. It's a beautiful ball played in by Jerry Gray. A fabulous header by Alex Bunbury. It's tipped onto the bar by Merkel, and Chazaretta and Gasparini queue up at the far post to knock it in. What a great ball played in by Gray. Super header, great save by Merkel. Chazaretta knocks it in. Gasparini says, after you. In Argentinian, of course.
Of course, and the goal by Hamilton and Hector Chazaretta comes at the 75th minute. Doesn't matter. It's all the same when you score goals in soccer, whatever the language, huh?
Muchas gracias, Chazaretta said there. Muchas gracias. That was the easiest goal he'll ever score.
Oh, Gasparini thought he might be through, but the foul is on the Steelers. Well, the first header by Bunbury was off the bar. He had come close to putting it away himself.
It was flicked onto the bar by young Rob Merkel. 5'7" of him, stretched to his full height to flick that header by Bunbury onto the bar, but the Vancouver defenders had moved out hoping to catch Bunbury offside, and there was no covering defense to protect Merkel. There's the 5 spots and the cards used up. Vic, should we put a 6-1
I think you might. Full credit to the Steelers for coming back after giving up those 3 goals. And these final 13 minutes or so will be very interesting now as Hamilton trail by just 1. Mr. Douglas wants to have a chat. Valentine, Mobilio move
wants
over.
to have a chat with Dominic Mobilio, who gave away the free kick, and when the free kick was given, kicked the ball away. And I'm sure that Mr. Douglas will take out the yellow card because he did the same to Dolan, and the crowd will boo. But fair's fair, consistency. Mr. Derek Douglas has been consistent right throughout the game. And Ivor Evans is coming off, and Jamie Lowry, number 8, is coming on. And there was a question in Bobby Lenarduzzi's mind whether he'd start Ivor Evans or Jamie Lowry. That's been solved for him now because Jamie Lowry is on and Ivor Evans has already played.
Jamie Lowry out of the University of Victoria, the 27-year-old with 4 goals in his 3rd CSL season. And now the game has changed totally as the Steelers start to swarm. Gray gets it across, headed down. Gasparini, and there was little Rob Merkel to make the biggest save of his game so far.
He read it so well, but Gasparini, a little unlucky in one way, but lucky in the other. Watch as he tries to head it across goal to Bunbury. Gets a rebound, hits it first time. Merkel's right there to pick it up. Unlucky and unlucky for the big Argentinian striker on that occasion.
Mitchell, little give and go with Easton, doesn't. Mitchell, top of the box, heels it back. Oh, what a nice play to Mobilio. And then Dolan does a good job to get over in time to keep it in play, and he'll boot it upfield.
Guido Boyne did a good job, because when Dominic Mobilio gets you one-on-one inside the box on his left foot, tough to stop him, but Guido Boyne did well to jockey him, and the ball ran clear to Paul Dolan.
The foul is against the Steelers, and the free kick will be given to the 86ers. It's 3-2, Vancouver leading Hamilton with about 10.5 minutes to play in regulation time. The 1989 CSL Championship from Swangard Stadium here on TSN. Belfiore, Mitchell, Mobilio, Mitchell!
I tell you, I don't care what soccer you watch, if it's the Spanish First Division, the Italian First Division, the Bundesliga, this is a world-class effort by Dale Mitchell. Watch him try to bend it, and it just doesn't quite bend enough. Great effort. Just a reminder that if this game does finish tied, we go to 30 minutes overtime, then we go to FIFA rules penalty kicks.
Chazaretta will take this Steeler free kick. Top of the area, looking for Gasparini, heads it straight up. Bunbury is there. So's Merkel. 3-2, Vancouver. Under 10 minutes to play now.
Tough to get any force on the ball when you're standing underneath it like Alex Bunbury was. He may well have been better advised to have flipped it onto a colleague rather than getting on ball, because when you're standing out underneath it and jump straight up, almost impossible to get any force.
You know what? It's one of the few times I think I've ever seen Vancouver guilty of maybe laying back just a little bit, and it looks like they are. Chazaretta for the Steelers, midfield. Goes across the field for Purdy. Plays it back for Boyne, and into touch.
And it's a Hamilton throw-in, and I don't think it's a case of Vancouver laying back. It's a case of momentum, a case of confidence. We said earlier, you only play as well as the opponents let you, and for a spell, Hamilton had no option but to lay back and defend the way the 86ers were playing. Now it's Hamilton with that latest goal who have got the confidence, but the 86ers still lead 3-2.
No wonder coaches always say, why couldn't you play like that for the entire game? Lowry at midfield.
I don't think there's a coach, Vid Horvath or Bobby Lenarduzzi, would criticize any of these players. They have given 100% effort. They've chased, they've tackled, they've covered. This has been a credit to the game.
What a lovely tackle by Mark Purdy to take it away from Valentine. Mitchell over to Mark. Lays it off for Jerry Gray. Bunbury moves to the top of the area. Purdy there as well. Damazetis can't get it through. Jerry Gray. Now Muirhead plays it forward for Mobilio. Lowry has moved up. Catlett is on his right. Lowry will try it himself. And I don't know whether that was a half shot or just a bad pass.
It was a half shot that was meant to be a full shot. Jamie Lowry was tempted to push it wide to Catlett. The ball was running so invitingly. He had to hit it. Didn't hit it very well at all. Tough to resist, though, when the ball's running like that. You can see the headlines in tomorrow's paper. Lowry scores winner, and you just have to crack it.
Mobilio dances along the near sideline.
Almost kept it in, and Lenarduzzi sweating now because he can sense that the 86ers just for the last 3-4 minutes have lost a bit of momentum, but he still has the one-goal edge.
Heard on a radio interview today that Bobby Lenarduzzi will be interviewed for the head coaching job of the Canadian national team this week by the Canadian Soccer Association. He and former coach Tony Waiters are apparently the number 1 and 2 candidates as quickly the 86ers take it. Easton goes for the near corner and misses. Domazetis, who rattled one off the bar for Bunbury.
Yeah, but that
Belfiore with the header clears it. Bunbury. Lays it back into the middle. Looking for Jerry Gray, and then Jamie Lowry got him away. Guido Boyd and John Catlin collide, and the referee, Mr. Douglas, says play on because they were simply going for the ball. Jerry Gray lays it off. The tackle's good. Purdy skips one through. Vid Horvat off the bench. His team trails by 1. Just over 5 minutes remaining in regulation time. The 1989 CSL Championship, and it's 3-2 Vancouver. Guido Boyd. Valentine takes the ball away from Chazaneta. Valentine cuts to the middle. Valentine!
Oh, the crowd thought it went into the net. We've been caught like this on a telecast before. It hit the side net. But Carol Valentine's been coasting for the last 5 minutes. Now he comes into the game with a vengeance. Tracks it beautifully. It beats Dolan, but hits the side net.
Bunbury through, and it's cleared away by McDonald. Ferguson. Gasparini can't lay it through. Cleared away by McDonald. This is Catlin.
And the danger Hamilton face now is that they have to push forward, looking for that equalizing goal. We've seen Drew Ferguson come forward and leave himself short at the back.
Ian Yero will clear it to Dolan.
And watch Dolan kick this ball at the fullback. Off the ground. Does it very well.
For Bunbury. Working against Belfiore. Domazetis, Gasparini are in the middle. Purdy has moved up as well. Hamilton looking for the tying goal. They trail 3-2 with under 5 minutes to play. Bunbury gets it across. Headed down. Oh, it was teed up on the one-time volley, and Steve McDonald got it away.
And watch Dolan again. Dolan now playing like a sweeper, like an outfield player, as Hamilton pushed forward for that equalizer.
Ian Yero near sideline, cuts it through. Valentine cuts it off. Lowry, upfield. Ian Yero intercepts. Plays it through. He has Gasparini trying to do it himself. Steve McDonald there. Gasparini still there. Jerry Gray, can he get it across? Over the end line. Says the near side of the engine for Bob Sartell.
Well, I don't think it was a goal kick. I think the linesman gave a free kick against Gasparini for pulling against the defender, and Gasparini's going in. Mr. Douglas is now he's going to get a red card. You can't push the referee like that. Gasparini, for the second year in a row, gets thrown out of the game with about 2 minutes to go, and that is plain stupidity. Derek Douglas give him the opportunity to stay on the field. Gasparini pushed the referee, and for the second year in a row, Amadeo Gasparini gets sent off in the CSL final with about 3 minutes to go, and there's no excuse for that at all.
Well, you can't touch the official in any sport, so there's nothing more we can say. He gave Mr. Derek Douglas a push, and so the red card is given to Amadeo Gasparini, and they will play short for the remainder of the game. And Gasparini can't even sit on the bench, and so Vid Horvat is saying, sorry, my friend, you've got to even go to the locker room.
Yes, he does. He cannot sit on the bench, and that's feet up against Catlett there, should have been. But unfortunately, there is no reason at all for Gasparini's action. Mr. Derek Douglas gave him a very, very good opportunity to stay in the game. Gasparini didn't take it. The fourth official, Mr. Rob Brown, says you've got to go off the bench and get into the dressing room. Meanwhile, the game goes on, and Hamilton have still got a chance with about a minute left to get that all-important tying goal.
But now playing a man short, it'll be even more difficult. Guido Boyne makes the run for the middle, lays it off to Jerry Gray. Bunbury for Boyne. They're saving their last chance! And off to the head of Steve McDonald and over the bar, and it'll be a corner now for the Hamilton Steelers.
Well, it would have been a corner kick, only Billy Domacetis went in a little early and was given offside by Mr. Bob Sotwell on the near side. And now the Hamilton players off the bench trying to inspire the 10 men on the field, but in the dying seconds, it's a pretty hopeless task.
Jerry Gray. It'll go into touch. It'll be going now for the Hamilton Steelers. Dale Mitchell slow to get up. Cleared forward for Bunbury. Domazetis. Chazaretta in the middle. Oh, and it's headed away at the last moment by W. Muirhead as Domazetis was all alone at the edge of the box. And now here come the 86ers, and Dale Mitchell will try and slow it down. Dale Mitchell, Dolan hustles back to his area. The Hamilton keeper playing, as you suggest, a sweeper, was way out almost at the midway line. Bobby Leonarduzzi, Vid Horvath. He was more confident coming into this game than he was last year. He thought his team, Vid Horvath, thought that his Hamilton team was a much better side, more cohesive than last year. He lost several top players a year ago. Jerry Adzich included, who's now in Australia. Several top individual players. But he thought this year he had the team. And then again, they took 3 out of 4 points against Vancouver during the regular season, so that was also on their side.
Well, the game took a pattern that we anticipated. It's 3-2. It may not be over, but on the edge of play and on the edge of statistics throughout the season, it looks very much as if the 86ers are going to repeat. Hamilton certainly have given them a run for the money.
We're into injury time by more than a minute. Play on, says Mr. Douglas, near sideline. Chazaretta through the legs of Lowry, nicely to Jerry Gray.
And these seconds take hours to go past. Hours and hours and hours, an eternity. The last minute of a game just will not pass. Bobby Leonarduzzi can't believe that Mr. Douglas hasn't blown his whistle. Now he has.
And congratulations to the Vancouver 86ers, who for the second straight year are the Canadian Soccer League champions. The final score, Vancouver 3, Hamilton 2.
And it's unlucky third time round once again for these Hamilton Steelers. What a game they gave these Vancouver 86ers. 3-2, a magnificent game. It could have been 9-8. The goalkeepers, despite the scores, were outstanding. And what an effort by every one of these players on the field. What a credit to the game in Canada, and a magnificent display by these CSL teams.
Carl Valentine, Ivano Belfiore, congratulations from Mark Carpin. The Vancouver 86ers, the 1989 CSL champions. Now it's time for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Remington.
Well, my Remington turning point came 7 minutes into the second half, down 1-0. John Catlett flicks on this corner kick. When it's knocked back in, Catlett puts the 86ers level at 1-1. Then it was all Vancouver. Catlett's goal, the Remington turning point.
A cash donation will be made to amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Remington. Remington,
hello,
the grooming company. A record crowd of more than 7,900 here at Swangard celebrate the second straight CSL championship by the Vancouver 86ers as they beat Hamilton, the final 3-2. Carl Valentine, John Catliff, Dominic Mabilio, Steve McDonald, Jim Easton makes his way up, Ivano Belfiore, Ivor Evans, the CSL commissioner, Mr. Dale Barnes, will make the presentation of the championship trophy. Jim Easton, number 12.
2 years in a row, a magnificent performance by the Vancouver 86ers.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, says it all for 1989. Foster's CSL Championship on TSN.